All right, everybody, move along. Nothing to see here. Let's get over here. Go. You go this way. Everybody get out of the way. This has been a train wreck that we weren't expecting. It's been building up for 20 years. Yeah, hold on a second. Yes, sir. Yeah, we're trying to detour everyone around so they don't have to deal with this train wreck. Yes. Yes, the number, it was F9. F9. I think it said on something on the side, something about the Fast Saga. So, yeah. So, everybody detour around here. Nothing to see here. Keep on going. So, let's get on to talk about this disaster, this train wreck. Let's go. So what's up, YouTube boys and girls? Welcome back to the JevMan316 Custom YouTube channel. I'm your host, JevMan316, your pop culture reporter. And so let's take a look at the film that I'm going to be reviewing for you today. Well, that really wasn't the film that I'm going to be reviewing for you, but I'm going to be giving you my review and take on the movie F9, The Fast Saga. We might as well be watching that cartoon, though, of the Dukes of Hazzard, considering some of the ridiculous stunts and scenarios that we had to sit through. So before you find out if this film is going to avoid my hot garbage rating, please do the normal YouTube stuff. Like this video, please give it the thumbs up. Comment down below, let me know what you thought of the movie or you think of my movie review. Subscribe to the channel, and then after you do that, you know the next best thing. Hit that notification bell. You'll be the first to know when I post new videos. So F9, The Fast Saga, stars Vin Diesel as Dominic Toretto, John Cena as his brother Jacob, and basically every other actor that's ever been in any Fast film up to this point, other than The Rock. So I guess maybe he was on to something when he started his little personal feud with Vin Diesel, because at least it got him to avoid this film.
What in the blue hell is wrong with you?
This thing is more of a cartoon than an action film. So the story of F9 centers around Dom and his racing family being called back into action by Mr. Nobody. Mr. Nobody is once again played by Kurt Russell. He stars in basically just a series of long cameos that's used to set up the main plot of this film. I don't really like it because some of those scenes retcon some plot points from previous entries, but I'm not going to get too deep into that. I don't want to do too many spoilers. But Mr. Nobody's plane is taken out by the villainous organization Cypher that we're familiar with in the previous films. They want to get their hands on a piece of high-tech MacGuffin equipment. In the process, Don's younger brother Jacob is recruited by Cypher to find the remaining two pieces of the MacGuffin device, which will allow them to take over the world's electronic defense systems. What? You didn't know Dom had a brother? Most of the characters didn't seem to know. They were all clueless throughout the film, other than Mia, of course. So how did this not come up in previous films as they were doing all the investigating to Dom and his crew? Oh, wait, I know. It's because it was John Cena. They just couldn't see him.
You can't see me.
Oh, well, let's just keep moving along because the plot makes no sense at this point and is not really going to make any sense along the way. So we're so far removed now in this series of what it was all about from the beginning. Does anybody even remember that this is basically a race car movie and centered around Dom and his quote-unquote family who were thieves and hijackers? Dom was introduced to the character Brian in the very first film. They became like brothers because of a mutual respect for each other and shared bond through the love of a family member, Mia. Brian did know, though, that Don deep down was a good person with a tender heart under all those muscles. But somewhere along the way, everyone in this crew learned some things. Let's see. They learned how to hack computers from anywhere in the world. They learned to master multiple arts of hand-to-hand combat. They learned to master almost every weapon known to man, no matter what the size. And they learn to avoid physical injury, almost like Superman. This movie's even so arrogant that it continuously throws that last fact up in our face throughout the entire movie. Several of the characters even have comedic arguments throughout the movie about just how invincible they may be and how they cannot be killed for some reason. The writers probably think they're being clever by actually bringing it up over and over again, but it just makes the movie seem more silly and more outrageous as we go. And I don't even mean in a good way. So they know that each action set piece is ridiculous, and they know that there's no way that any of these bullets are going to injure them. But they try to disguise that fact by being meta about it. Strike one for Fast 9 already. So let's talk about those action sequences. Gone are the days where they do a slow build, where they slowly build up to that one big huge moment at the end of the movie that's going to take things over the top, and it's all real fun to watch it all unfold. No. In this movie, they hit you over the head with it from the very beginning of the film. Once the crew is on the site looking for clues of what happened to Mr. Nobody's plane, they're almost immediately thrown into this big huge gun battle. That gun battle then leads to a high-speed chase where they're trying to stop Cypher from getting the first piece of the MacGuffin device. I'm going to keep calling it a MacGuffin device because there's no reason for this type of device to even exist in our world other than maybe explain the scope and the plot of this film. It's got to be something bigger and badder every time. So why not just have the bad guys try to harm and destroy the entire planet this time? Well, I'll digress. So this first big quote-unquote battle leads to several very unrealistic action sequences. First, there's this big, long chase with dozens of enemies in their vehicles. They're full of bad guys, and they all have machine guns. And they're all shooting at our heroes. So I guess they don't teach how to shoot out tires at the henchman school anymore. This chase even includes a casual drive over a wooden suspension bridge. And that bridge, I didn't tell you, it's breaking apart under them as they drive over it. But wouldn't the weight of the car make that physically impossible? Does gravity not exist in this universe? The final part of the chase leads to that famous scene that you've been seeing in the trailers for over a year now. While Dom is chasing a car, and that car flies off a cliff, and then a drone plane with a giant magnet grabs the top of the car and takes off with it. So the car wouldn't sink like a rock? Either way, Dom tries to do the same thing, and he avoids certain death by snagging one of those suspension cables that's left hanging from the bridge. It hooks under his wheel well, which allows him to swing like Tarzan over to the other side. This chase scene sets the tone for the whole rest of the movie. There's no slow build. It's just a big, gigantic action sequence that blows up in your face immediately. And every one of those action sequences has to be over the top and bigger than the one before it. So indulge me as I rant for a few more minutes about some other action sequences. So as the great philosopher Doc Brown once said,
roads, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Yep, you got it. We have our first trip to outer space in this film. Yeah, you heard that right, outer space. A vehicle with a rocket engine strapped to the top, blasts into space with two characters inside who are wearing basically deep sea diving suits. The final chase scene even involves those super high power electromagnets like they use to pick up the car. They fit those into each of their vehicles. They may mention in the movie that they've never even seen magnets this strong before that had this much power. I guess they were having a sale on electromagnetic activation panels at the local Radio Shacks.
We're so much more than just a store. Radio Shack.
So they obviously defied physics so many times in that last chase scene that I talked about that I lost count. It was so laugh out loud comical. And with one last act of arrogance from the writers, they even had the audacity to have one of the characters say something about that rocket car being possible because it was all about numbers and you can't cheat physics. Strike two, or is that three? Let's just say strike two for F9. So I used to hate how in each one of these entries of the franchise, they seem to get a little more preachy about the importance of family and honor. Honor even among thieves, I guess. Now I'm actually missing those days We're now just left with one big action scene after another that's held together by either comedic moments or flashbacks to the past, showing why family and honor are still supposed to be so important to these characters. It just seems like a cheap way to keep everyone that's viewing the movie invested in these characters. It has been 9 films. I'm not sure how much more invested I need to be to actually be in the theater watching this. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip ahead and give my feelings about the finale of the movie. I may have to mention a few minor spoilers along the way, but at this point, I don't have a huge YouTube following, so I don't think it'll matter anyway. But if so, you might want to stop now or at least go to the very end. Everything I said applies here to the finale that I said about the beginning. As the story unravels and you see Cypher's ultimate plan unfold, the twist-type ending is really easily spoiled by lazy storytelling. Let's just say it like this. I'm a wrestling fan, not afraid to admit that. And when the WWE wouldn't turn John Cena heel even at the end of his current career, if that's what you want to call it, it made his character really stale at the end of that last run that he had. When I saw that John Cena was finally going to be playing a heel in this film, I got really excited. Finally, a heel turn by Cena. Yeah, they couldn't even get that right. The twist was so easy to see coming that even John Cena couldn't hide it with his "you can't see me." He ended up not being a heel through the whole movie. Strike 3, this movie's out in my book. So I'm going to wrap this up. I really had high hopes that John Cena could take this series in a new direction like The Rock did when he debuted, but that did not happen.
What in the blue hell is wrong with you?
I'm going to admit that I was entertained by a few scenes here or there, but not as much as I wanted. This movie is entirely a popcorn flick, obviously, but it can't be compared to other action flicks that come out around the same time at this point. I'll just have to compare it to the other 8 films in this series, and if you do that, I do feel disappointed. There's nothing really new to see here, nothing new with the characters. It's kind of lame when they're trying to be meta and clever and making fun of itself. As the runtime was winding down, I found myself actually looking forward to see how they're going to incorporate Brian into this story. I know they had to have some mention of him other than the one time at the beginning. And then I actually was wondering how cool is the after credit scene going to be instead of the actual ending of the movie. So when compared to all the earlier entries in this franchise or the spin-off Hobbs and Shaw, I'm sorry to say that this has to be a gigantic can of hot garbage. So what did you think of F9? Did you think it was hot garbage? Did you think it was on fire? Do you think it was as good as the previous 8 films in the franchise? Are you looking forward to the already announced 10th and 11th entries in this film series? I think those 2 are supposed to actually wrap this thing up, but I don't trust them. I got a feeling they're going to end up doing more spin-offs. Maybe another Hobbs and Shaw, maybe an all-female Fast 9 movie. I'm not sure. It's just all too overwhelming at this point. They could just stop and I would be happy. I think I'm going to stick with the first maybe 5 or 6 films in this franchise and Hobbs and Shaw. Other than that, I think I'm done. Like I said, what do you think? Give my video, my review with the thumbs up. Put any comments below. Let me know what you think of my review and what you think of the movie. And then after you do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'm going to do a lot more movie reviews and I want you guys to come by and help me out. Give me comments. Push me along the way. Let me know what to do different. And then after you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell and you'll be the first to know when I post new videos. Movie reviews, toy reviews, movie hunts, toy hunts, anything pop culture related. That's what we do here. Whew. I guess it wasn't that fast after all. Sorry. So this is JeffMan316, your pop culture reporter, signing out saying, you guys be safe out there.